Hello there. We're here. We're live, I think. All right.
Like that.
And we've just been chatting for a little while as well, Jesse. This is like the first time we've ever spoken, man. So
it is.
But isn't it weird that you feel like you have met somebody or you know?
Absolutely, yeah. Like, we're obviously watching each other's videos over the years. You hear each other's voice, and it's almost like you know what it's like to talk to the person. You talk via comments and messages and stuff. It's
exactly. And like I was just saying as well, you're one of the first people I saw on YouTube this is way before I was doing videos, predicting the future of the vintage collection. And I think the first, I think it was like maybe 2012. So it's going back a while. In fact, I mentioned a few things to you, which we will talk about later.
Yeah.
That obviously you'd forgotten you'd said in that list, which is really funny.
Yeah, I'd like to go back and see how wrong I was.
Well, we'll look at that later, but that'd be awesome. I think it was like you, and it was like Victoria's Canteen, and then that was it. And that's why I thought, well, I'm going to do a bit of this. I'm going to do a bit of speculation. But anyway, hello there, and I'm going to see, what am I doing here? I still feel like a bit of a newbie with all this. Jesse, I'm going to see who's in the chat. If I get rid of this brand thing here, and we'll see. There's about 7 people there.
Yeah, I'm a bit of a noob when it comes to StreamYard and stuff like that, but I'm slowly working it out.
Aha, I think I've got it now. Oh, look at this. We've got usual Mike in the chat. And then we've got Darth Rock. See, we've got all the people at your side of the hemisphere.
It's all Saturday night and we're not allowed to go outside, so
yeah. Brilliant. So we got hello there. So we've got usual Mike, Blue Harvest Vintage Toys, Darth Rock, Anthony Robinson, Clayton Lancaster. Hi there. Wow, man. Clayton Lancaster, you must be, is it 5 a.m. with you? Before 7 a.m. on a Saturday. Wow, that is dedication across the nation. Well done, Clayton. My moderator, I believe. Yes, he is. And let's just have a good look here. Jay Brower, good evening or morning, wherever you are. It's the afternoon. Anyway, Jesse, so thank you for joining me. It's really good to have you on.
My absolute pleasure.
Why don't we start with, if you just let us know what you've got that's new, man. What's new with your collection?
Well, basically today I got a bunch of new figures from a website called goodiestoys.com.au. He's literally in the next town over from me, so he was really kind enough to drop them across to me. I've actually just put the reviews up on YouTube, as I've mentioned. The Black Series Admiral Akbar, which is really, really cool. Tebow, and I got a couple of the new Stormtroopers, which are pretty sweet. But yeah, I've been pretty well into buying things recently because I've gone on a big clear out of my Marvel Legends figures. Like, I've just decided that whole line is just too hard to keep up with. And I stuck mainly to the MCU sort of kind of stuff, but it's just so much to keep up with, let alone trying to do Star Wars as well. So
I put that down. I do want to talk to you about Marvel later because I want to get. I messaged you a long time ago and I said, "Oh, how do I get into Marvel? Where do I begin?" And you were one of the people who commented on that. So we'll just talk about that later if you don't mind. I've written that down.
Yeah, absolutely.
Give me some advice.
But yeah, because I've been selling off like a lot of that collection, I've had a bit of extra pocket money to put towards some Star Wars stuff. So I did get the Lego Razor Crest yesterday, which is really, really cool. I'm starving for Mando stuff, so that feeds the hunger a little bit.
Yeah, cool, man. So have you got the Akbar there? Can we get a quick glimpse of that?
Yes.
Yeah, awesome. And the Tebow, man, I wouldn't mind a look at that.
Oh, the Tebow is like pick of the bunch for me at the moment. As I was saying to you before, like the only disappointing thing with Akbar is he doesn't come with his staff, like his little pointy stick.
Yeah.
And I'll apologize to everyone else that's watching about my rocky table. Yeah, I've got this bar table here, and it's a little bit rocky, and I called it the Exegorth Space Slug table because it's not entirely stable. But let's bring Tebow.
He's here all night, ladies and gentlemen.
Check out that Ewok.
That is awesome. God, he's like the scariest of all. He's a nutter, isn't he?
Yeah.
I want them to do him in the vintage collection, just because I love that card back of him.
It's such a good figure. I'm really, really excited to see what Hasbro's going to do with Ewoks in the 6-inch line going forward.
Yeah, his eyes are quite interesting.
Yeah, it looks like they've kind of gone like they
yeah.
almost look like the same as like some of the photo real like on the humans.
Yeah. Oh, I see. Now you've got it closer, and you can see the beadiness of the. Yeah, now that I can see more of him in the film there, but it's just the way they were slanting looked a little bit more like that kind of angry emoji.
Yeah,
Whereas he was more neutral in the film. I don't know, but that's
there's
cool.
like,
But it's still a cracking
yeah,
figure.
it's a little vicious man-eating bear.
Yeah, that's right. Awesome. Anything else? I saw you got the Slave One and stuff like that. You got the barge behind you. That's going back a while, but
Oh yeah, I love the barge. Yeah, I got Slave One. I've done pretty well with sort of keeping up with the vintage collection vehicles lately. The only one I really missed was the Rogue One tank.
Oh, that's great.
I'd still like to get it. Just a matter of tracking it down.
Get it.
Yeah.
You won't regret that one. It's good.
Yeah, they've been doing really well with their vehicles lately. I'm pretty thrilled with what they're doing.
Yeah. I had a lot of feedback about the Falcon as well. There's a lot of people who've said, rightly so, I've got the Legacy. I don't think I'm going to be getting this. And there isn't a hell of a lot in it. But, you can't deny how good this new one looks with that wash all over it, It deserves that treatment,
Yeah, I did watch your video. It's great a great opportunity to get it back out there for people as well that missed it, 10 years ago, whatever it was.
Yeah.
I had one and I sold it maybe a year and a half ago. I just didn't have the space for it. So,
oh, really?
And with the addition of the barge to my room, it's kind of like that sort of really became the focal point of my collection. So
yeah, sure. Yeah.
Yeah, the Falcon kind of took backseat, and then I thought I'll get some money to fund some other things.
Yeah, well, if you change your mind, you might still be able to snag one of these. You never know. I don't know how the clearance thing's going to work and how many they're making, but I know you just said you've not got the space, but it's still a key piece, isn't it?
Yeah. I've got one Lego Millennium Falcon from Rise of Skywalker. I don't know. One day I'd like to have another like decent looking Falcon in the collection, but for now I'm fine without it.
Yeah. So we've got Bosk Spouty there in the chat as well. What else was I going to say about the Falcon's great, and I've got that option of having two now where I can have one open, but I don't know where quite I'm going to. I still haven't figured out where I'm going to put him quite yet. But I went to IKEA yesterday and I got a load of stuff. I got some of those Detolf stands. They're really good for my helmets.
Yeah.
And I've got another one I need to open. It's like a kind of a glass coffee table thing. There's two
nice.
fit together. So the longer one will be for the barge. The more square one will be for the Falcon. So
yeah, cool.
Straight after we've spoken, Jesse, I'm going to put that one together.
Nice.
But, awesome. We were going to talk about lists and stuff as one of the things, because as I said before, one of the first people on YouTube I found talking about the future of the vintage collection was yourself. I'm sure you did a top 20, maybe a top 10, I don't know, but I only ever do top 5 lists.
I do remember doing a top 20 because I still get comments on it today, and that was like back in 2012 or something.
Yeah.
And at the time, I think I had like 2 from each movie, 2 from the expanded universe, 2 from the Clone Wars, and then 2 honorable mentions or something. That was my little way to get to 20 figures. And I still get comments on that today, like saying, why haven't you got figures? Why haven't you got this figure out? I'm like, well, that wasn't out back then. That was, check the date stamp on the video, guys.
Yeah. That's
it's
right.
Funny. It was like 2012, and of course I don't have figures from 2016 on it.
Yeah, right.
But,
yeah, that's funny. We'll do an update video, definitely.
Yeah, I should. I really should.
You've got Thrawn in that video, actually. I probably shouldn't be talking about this because you're probably diving into your list. You've got Thrawn, and you've got one of those realistic ones. I've still got a Rebels one that I should open.
The Rebels one's cool. I like that Thrawn a lot. But yeah, I remember that the Thrawn from the Legacy comic pack. I found that at a toy fair here, and it was just in a box of random figures, and I pulled it out and asked the guy, how much is this one? He said $5. So I snagged that one for $5, and I walked away thinking, how did I just pull off Thrawn for $5?
Yeah, it's a good looking figure. That. Yeah. He's got that. What's that thing on it? I don't know much about Thrawn. It's like a monkey or something on his shoulder.
Yeah, it's called the Salamiri. Yeah, Salamiri, and it's like it has the ability to stop the Force, so it creates like a non-force bubble around him, so people can't like mind trick him and use the Force on him.
Yeah, sorry, Jesse. Is it
That's
like
right.
a Kowakian monkey lizard?
It's more like a lizard snake thing.
Ah,
They, you know the Thrawn Black Series pack with there was the deluxe pack and it opened up, and then in Rebels in his office he had this little statue with 2 lizards on it.
oh right,
That's sort of what they're meant to be.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
We've got Todd L there. You're in Virginia. That's Eastern time, isn't it? Eastern time. So that's wow. That's an early tune in. Thank you for being here.
Early
Wow,
morning, yeah.
amazing. So should we do it then, Jesse? Let's get stuck into this. So
Yeah, definitely. Let me grab my notes up.
well, actually, I tell a lie. I said the first thing was the vintage collection, but I will also pull up the list, which I did post out on social media. I put it onto Instagram, Twitter. I don't usually do this. I mean, I've been kind of winging the last few of these episodes because I've got the live chat. We can always I've been chatting randomly with the guests, but I put that up, which is just basically wanted to talk about the thoughts on your thoughts on the Mandalorian season 2. Be interesting to hear. Then your top 5 TVC cards here. Your top 3.75 figures ever, which I can't wait to hear that. Top 5 need. Oh yeah, top 5 need in TVC, which is going back to your list, isn't it? Then after that, we're going to talk about top 5 6-inch Black Series figures ever, which is something of interest for myself because going back to my collecting room there, I've been setting out some of my Black Series figures, and do you know what? It just hits home how good that line is. And then also your top 5 need in the Black Series, which would also be interesting to hear. So, well, since we're talking about figures, should we start with that and we'll come back to the Mandalorian later, eh?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Wicked. So your top 5 TVC cards, go.
So do you want me to rattle them off one by one and discuss it, or do you want me to just go all 5?
However you want, man. I'm sure we just however you want.
All right. So part of my sort of going into this was something that was completely different. Like, we've all seen re-releases of the vintage cards from the vintage days from the 70s and 80s. I really wanted to go for something that was sort of more modern, new characters, new figures, etc., etc. So I started off with 2 from the Clone Wars, the Anakin and Obi-Wan from the Clone Wars. I think they're just getting re-released now. I'm starting to see a couple come out, and they've got the photo real apps. But those card arts are fantastic. The way they've sort of superimposed Hayden Christensen's head onto like Clone Wars Anakin body. It just looks really good. I'm really excited about those 2 figures. Yeah. Another recent one, Rogue One Stormtrooper, that came out last year, I think. Yeah. There was just something about that card back with that Stormtrooper really, really popped.
Yeah.
And there's just that cutscene from the movie where the Stormtrooper just sort of walks past the camera and has a sort of glance at the camera. That's a really good card. And very recent
Jesse,
one.
I will cut in on there. Interesting. That card back as well. When I saw that popped because I'd seen so many customizers, all these people, and that's the first time I'd seen that image. So it just came out of nowhere. So I totally understand what you're on about there. Yeah. Awesome.
Where was I? Luke Stormtrooper? No, that's all right. Luke Stormtrooper coming out on like a classic Star Wars card.
Yeah.
Because it had only ever been out on Power of the Force. And right. I don't know, did it come out on a Tri-Logo? I'm not sure.
Oh, possibly, yeah. You'd have to get someone like Blacked Out Ewoks or someone to dive in and say, but
yeah,
definitely on the Power of the Force. Yeah.
But yeah, it's really cool to see that figure on a classic vintage card. It looks really good. And my last one is the lightsaber construction Luke Skywalker from the vintage collection when they did that wave of 5 figures from the Blu-ray deleted scenes.
Yeah.
Where they did Leia Sandstorm, Lando Sandstorm, Mon Calamari Pilot.
Yeah, I like the way that you like that, man, because I mean it's like very comic-y, isn't it? It's art, isn't it?
Almost, yeah. But I just remember when they revealed that scene at I think it was a Star Wars Celebration.
Yeah.
And that scene come online and it was just like, how has this never been seen before? And that just blows me away. Like I can see why they cut that moment from the film, but
I remember about 2013 when I started watching YouTube for like collectors and stuff like that, and I remember seeing footage of it and like it's like, wow, it's fresh. Where did that come from? Unbelievable.
And R2 and 3PO going on their journey. I'm trying to think of what the other figure was. There's 4 of them in the wave, but
don't worry, he's up there. I'll see if I can grab him later. But he's the best out of all of them lot.
Yeah, what was the 5th one? There was Luke, Lando, Leia.
Oh, Colonel Kraken.
Colonel Kraken, that's the one.
There was also Mon Calamari Pilot.
Yeah, that's the one I couldn't think of, was the Colonel Kraken. That's right.
Yeah, they're quite interesting, those cards.
Yeah.
My least favorite is Leia. She looks really kind of washed out.
Yeah, right.
Plain, and I don't know.
It's been a while since I looked at those cards, but I did sort of scroll past that Luke lightsaber construction one earlier today. I thought, yeah, that's cool.
Just a shame about the figure, isn't it? Because about the side parting's wrong, apparently. I don't know. I wouldn't have noticed that somebody said. But can't wait to get the update of this one, Jesse. This is coming out soon. I don't know what VC number it is. It's going to be probably a different one. VC 23, because obviously they've had that image for, there's 2 VC 23s, as everyone knows. You've got Endor,
Capture, yeah,
and then there's that. But obviously this image is probably going to get its own number, but I'm sure someone like Tim or someone can clarify that in the chat.
Oh, there we go. Look, Stormtrooper was released on both Power of the Force and Trilogo.
Wicked.
Awesome.
Collect and Unleash. Thank you for that. Brilliant. Yeah, really good. So I don't know when it's coming out, going back to that Luke Knight, Jedi Knight, but I've seen it on reviews. It looks amazing. And I know exactly where he'll go. Right in front of my Jabba diorama, the palace.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Awesome. I've got a couple of him coming as well. For whatever reason, I got a bit carried away with orders, trying to get orders over £50 with ID toys. So so that's good, because I want him loose, and I might want a couple loose, one with and one without that hood. And then I might recycle the hood and put the new hood on my vintage 80s one. That makes sense.
Yeah, nice. That'd be cool.
That'd be cool. I might recard that or something. Awesome. Let's just have a quick look here. What have we got here in the chat? Pretty much take it over. We've got 24 people in. It's a funny time of day to do this. Obviously, we're doing this because Jesse is, as you can tell by the accent, in Australia. So it's just one of those things, isn't it? It's quite tricky.
It is, yeah.
It's all right. Cryo boy, have I given you a shout out? Apparently, what's this one here? Apparently, Kenobi TV series will feature Clone Wars scenes. I know, I heard about this.
I hope so.
Tamora Morrison, apparently, I heard he was associated with something. They said it was going to be Mandalorian, but if they have a shot of him as Cody or something without a helmet, that would just blow my fanboy mind. You know what I mean? That gets a lot of criticism in Star Wars. They say, it's just fan service. Yeah. But for me, just if it's subtle and just there, love it.
Yeah, and there's the rumors of Hayden Christensen coming back into the fold for the Kenobi series as well.
Yeah.
But, it just glimpses, man, like flashbacks of like Kenobi just sort of flashing back to like just the slightest second. It was just like, yes.
Yeah.
That's all we need.
Just like, what's he called now? Where is he? Like this guy. I loved it in The Mandalorian. When this guy, but he's not my favorite battle droid really by any stretch. He's just sort of, but there was something amazing about that, seeing him, and then you sort of like slow motion, like aiming the gun towards the child.
It's funny because seeing them in The Mandalorian, you almost forget that you saw them in like Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith, and you kind of look at them as Clone Wars characters because we've gone through 7 seasons of Clone Wars now. That's kind of funny to think of it that way, that, that's probably a sure sign that their sort of connectivity between different things is just working for them. And you see a super battle droid and go, oh, that's from the Clone Wars.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then think later, oh, that was in 2 and 3 as well. Yeah.
We'll talk more about that later, because obviously connectivity in Mando 2 and what you're predicting for that as well. Who and what the child is, etc. All right, man.
Sci-Fi, cheers for stopping by.
Yeah, sorry, I'll highlight that again there. Sorry, Sci-Fi. Yeah, home for a little while. Yeah, cool, man. Back in work tomorrow. Yeah, it's like that for a lot of people right now. Heading back to work. So top TVC cards. Thanks for that. And then top 3 3/4 inch figures ever, Jesse.
Now this one, I just went for the weird and wonderful with this. So my first one is Ifant Mon from O2 Saga.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
That figure is a sign of the times, because there's no way they would put a figure out that chunky with that much plastic on a card and just hang it up in the stores with everything else. It just wouldn't happen. Like, I remember hearing an interview with the former brand director, I think it was, for Star Wars, Daryl DePriest, and he said, like, he had to fight tooth and nail with the Hasbro executives to get that figure out on a card, as well as Hermiodal, who's the other big one for the 30th anniversary line. But he had to fight so hard to get, like, the amount of plastic approved need to make that figure. And, you know, he really pushed to get that thing out. And it's just, I just don't see them doing that today. So I went with Ifant Mon just because he's just a big chunk of plastic. He looks really, really cool. Just an interesting alien.
But how come he's so affordable, though, now? He's not that expensive. Maybe Hermiodal might be more. But
Hermiodal was harder for me to get. I can't remember how much I paid for either of them. I don't think I paid that much, but
I mean, I think I was at the right place at the right time, but I got a mint Ifant Mon at one of those collecting convention things or whatever, and it was only £16, 14 maybe, which is a bargain, you know. But I just
that's
thought
pretty good,
yeah, he might have gone up now since the barge and all that. And but I don't know. He is heavy.
Yeah. Next one, I went with Gragra from episode 1, which is the frog vendor from the markets. You know, Jar Jar steals the frog, and he's like, "Oh, whoopee.
Oh yeah. What's his name again?
Gragra, I think, something like that. Anyway,
do you know what?
I didn't look.
I was watching. It's funny this. I was watching I think it's Star Wars Theory's doing like a series right now. He's looking at the back. What does he call it? Extra features of the prequel trilogy. And there's a scene with the guy who does Guau Guau, whatever his name is, and it's like voiced by an English guy. He goes, "That'll be 700 dragons," and then George Lucas just goes,
"Yeah."
It's just the way he says, "I'd say cut." Like, he didn't think it was very good, isn't it? Sorry, man.
No, that's okay. So yeah, that one was just a weird looking figure, and I don't know why. I only got that figure maybe within the last couple of years, so it was kind of cool to finally knock that one off the list. And
it's so memorable. He's got these black eyes, hasn't he? Like,
yeah, it's almost like a big leather face looking.
Yeah,
bizarre.
Like lizardy cat features almost. I don't know if he's got pointiness here or something.
I can just sort of I can't really see him from here. Which apparently it's a her anyway. I recently discovered.
Yeah. That'll be 700 dragons. I'd say cut.
So the next one is Dexter Jester, another weird and wonderful character.
I'm only laughing because somebody who hates him who's in the chat now.
I wish we got the General Pong Krell in the Clone Wars line back in the peak of the Clone Wars, sort of early 2010s. But yeah, Dexter Jester is just another one of those crazy characters that's just, it's so out of the world of, it's just silly. Like I don't know. I don't know what it is, but it's on how good your manners are. Yeah. How big your pocketbook is.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I
like it.
You know, you'll watch the movie now and you can sort of see like the animation slightly dated, but at the same time, like, I don't know, it's just a 4-armed dude working as a chef, and he's got to hike his pants up constantly. And it's just like, that's a real world sort of thing where you got this, you know, big sweaty guy working in a kitchen. And he's constantly hitching his pants up. Next one, I went with the Clone Wars Jabba the Hutt.
Oh, wow. Yes. Yeah.
Which I got at Celebration Chicago last year. Corey Van Dyke from Kessel Run Transmissions podcast. He bought that for me as a gift. So
wow,
yeah, that was very generous.
Speaking of sci-fi has that, and I've seen how good it is. It's so all that line are very screen accurate. I don't know if they can just sculpt more an animated style easier than human realistic style or what. Great figure. And he must be expensive now, surely. Like all those figures are massive.
Yeah, I one of my sole purposes at Celebration was to try and find that figure. And yeah, it was still quite pricey in US dollars because it never came out down here in Australia. I don't know if it came out for you guys in the UK or anything, but no, it didn't. No, so like the only option for me was eBay, and that's just ridiculous anyway. But he managed to find someone that had it, and he bartered with them and got it for a really good price, and then he gifted it to me, which I'm extremely grateful for because it's
cool.
Yeah. The last one is actually one of the first Phantom Menace figures I ever got, and it was from a 3-pack. Came with Watto. It was the Watto's box, and it's the Graxol Kelvin. You know, the big guy, big tall guy with the axe head. I know Sci-Fi's got a custom Snoke that uses that as a base for the figure.
I have no idea who this is. I'm going to have to Google that.
Give me 2 seconds. I'll go and grab him.
Oh, good man. Oh, thanks, Jesse. It would be much better to see the real thing. Watto's box. I remember there was wasn't there a Jabba? Wasn't there like a Jar Jar Binks? Wasn't there like a Jar Jar in a Watto's cinema scene? Him. I thought he was a politician because you see him clapping.
Yeah, there is one. There is one in the Senate. I think when Anakin's running in to see Palpatine in Episode 3, there is one standing there. But he's sort of sitting there in the box when Watto's sort of cheering as Sebulba flies past.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. I've had this one for ages.
That's awesome.
It's just a really cool, but he has like the articulation so you could sit him in the chair as well.
Oh, wow. He looks heavy as well. Well, maybe because it's right up to the camera there. He looks as big as me, Fat Man.
But yeah, it's just one of those aliens that I'm a big fan of the aliens and like the diverse looking species and everything. And he's just so crazy.
Cool.
So he's going to sit here with me the rest
of
the
show.
And
what was his name again?
Graxol Kelvin.
Wow. You see, that's the thing about yourself. It's going over my head. I mean, I know a lot of stuff about Star Wars and names, but there's real solid collectors like you and Sci-Fi. You get into the nooks and crannies of what is it? Let's see how deep the rabbit hole goes with what you.
It's cool to be able to retain information about Star Wars, but then I'll go to the shopping center and I forgot to put the park brake on my car and it's rolling away as I walk to the shops. It's not always the best.
Yeah.
That actually hasn't happened. So.
All right, cool. So, yeah, so going back to TVC behind, they are pumping out some good stuff, but there's a lot of waves that I'm expecting the re-release of Darth Maul that's getting delivered. That's in the post. That wave with who else is in that? Is that the Anakin?
Obi-Wan.
Oh yeah, the Anakin and Obi-Wan. Yeah,
yeah.
That's coming. I don't need any of them loose. I need him loose, but I'm gonna be keeping that card of that Wicket, which is crazy because I do need him loose. But I've got into this thing of collecting variants. I've got 2 over there. I've got the Revenge and the Return Wicket, so I'm gonna put him next to them. But I could do with getting another Wicket as well, separate. But,
and he comes with 2 different headdresses too. So if you're a loose collector, you could easily buy another one as well, just to switch out them.
Series.
Yeah.
Right. Cool. So what would be, Jesse, the Forces with Jesse, your top 5 need in the vintage collection?
Top 5 needed. All right. So, we mentioned it earlier before, but Grand Admiral Thrawn.
Brilliant.
An updated version of Grand Admiral Thrawn. So because we've got that great figure from the comic pack, which still holds up, but it'd be cool to get a sort of realistic Rebels inspired one, like what they did with the Black Series, but scale it down and put it on a vintage card. He'd look fantastic. Force Awakens Han Solo. I think that was an absolutely missed opportunity when, they were bringing the vintage collection back. They did do the one where he's got the snow jacket later on in the movie, but
that was Black Series again, wasn't it? Wasted opportunity. That should have been on a vintage card. Yeah,
they should have just had regular Han Solo with his brown jacket. It would have been great.
And you know what was really good? As you know, the 5 POA one of regular Han was a brilliant figure, great likeness. And the card back, you can just imagine, even if the shot of him when he says it's true, all of it, the way he's looking there, somber.
Even that moment as he runs into the Falcon and says, "Chewie, we're home."
Yeah.
It's just that's iconic. Like, it would look fantastic.
It would. Definitely, Jesse, I agree with that, man.
And despite the fact that I do stick with trying to get new stuff out, I really want to get a new Bib Fortuna out there.
Good man,
He's
yeah.
been a long time between releases. I think the last Bib Fortuna figure might have been 2004. I'm thinking in the 2004 Saga OT line.
2006 Saga collection.
Yeah, might have been too. Yeah, 04 or 06 was around that mark.
Someone will let us know. But that's funny. There's so many you could dive into from his era, but he's definitely top of loads of lists.
We've had, we've had a new Jabba with the barge. We've had, Jabba's playset, which I hope they get to more of. Bib Fortuna is a pretty central character to that whole scene with Jabba. So,
but would you want them to repack what they've done previously, or would you like a new sculpt?
I think a new sculpt.
Yeah,
I think so. They've got the technology to make that look really good now.
Yeah, there was always something wrong with that other one. He looked like he was on a roller coaster or something. He was like,
yeah, that's one I've still got the Power of the Force one, so that's the one.
And given what they've done with like the Yak Face figure is amazing. I bet if they gave Bib Fortuna that treatment, fantastic, completely new sculpt, neutral face, just capturing how he is at the very beginning of his first appearances or something. Because usually he's like grinning, isn't he? He does a lot of smiling in Return of the Jedi, but all the figures are too much teeth.
Yeah, one of my favorite moments is when Jabba catches Leia releasing Han from Carbonite, and he pulls her towards him. Jabba pulls him towards him, and then you see Bib Fortuna. He's standing behind him laughing, but then Jabba goes and like sticks his tongue out at Leia, like, ugh. And then Bib Fortuna's like looking at him like, you can't do that. You're not allowed to wave your tongue at her. Like, he's so disrupted by it.
Is he still alive?
Devastated.
Him.
He's like, it's cool that you capture her, but don't you dare wave your tongue at her.
No, I know.
It's just so funny. I just can't not pay attention to that.
I wasn't sure if he'd passed away recently, the guy who played him, or he might still be alive. If anyone knows that in the chat, let us know.
Yeah,
but he's a brilliant character, man. So such a character. It's all about the performance of the actor as well, isn't it? Even makeup or whatever.
Yeah,
make him come to life.
I liked his kind of story in the expanded universe too, where he basically joined the Bomar monks and proved himself worthy of having his brain pulled out and put into a spider, so to continue to patrol the halls of Jabba's palace. And
oh wow,
it was crazy. I think it might have been in like Tales from Jabba's Palace or something, one of those books.
So that's those spider things, because I've heard about these monks. He's basically just mooched in there, hasn't he, Jabba? He doesn't own that palace. He's just sort of
pretty much, yeah. He's a squatter.
Yeah, and they allow it or they don't care. But what's that about the spider? I didn't know this.
So they sort of carry the brains. So the monks are sort of reach a certain part of whatever their religion is, that they seek further enlightenment, and it's basically removing their brains and having them put in these spiders.
So Fortuna had agreed to be the next in line to be the next brain, and wow,
something like that. Yeah,
immortality there. So is that does he survive the barge blast?
Not sure. I can't.
Okay.
He did in the expanded universe, but I'm not sure about canonically now.
There's a lot of people survived that you don't realize. Like, I didn't even know Bosk was on the barge when it blew. Never knew that until the last few years.
It's like Dengar's in Jabba's palace. Bosk's in there.
And not many people come to his aid either. There's a lot of politics with Jabba anyway. There's a lot of people who wanted him dead, like people who were conniving behind his back. Bib Fortuna may be one of them. And then Yak Face was supposed to be an information broker, wasn't he?
Yeah, something like that.
He stole information from people and passed it on, but obviously that worked against Jabba as well. Like, dangerous people, Interesting stuff, man. Awesome. So that's a good choice, Bib Fortuna.
Yeah. So next up, Count Dooku.
Yes.
needs a vintage card. I think re-releasing one of the figures is from the past is probably easy to do. That wasn't a bad figure. Probably, I'm not sure which one it was. There was one. The one I have, the most prominent sort of Count Dooku figure I have, was part of a 2-pack from the Legacy collection. They come up with like Geonosis battles.
The Geonosis battle, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and it was Count. I can't remember who came with him. I think it was the Jedi with the long brown hair, Ninkanis Tassu, I think it was. He came with Count Dooku.
Is this the one that's articulated with the
Soft cape.
soft goods? Yeah, right. Okay, yeah.
Well, I
There
think
was
that's
two of
probably
that
worthy
type.
of.
There was two. There was one with quite an aggressive face, and one with a sort of a neutral sort of. I'm just a mediator kind of. So I like. They're both good.
Yeah, either of them would probably go straight onto a vintage card. Pack in some Force Lightning hands to switch out and a lightsaber hilt. Yeah, that'd be cool.
It would definitely be good. And this is an interesting one because I used to just always presume that Dooku would go on Attack of the Clones because he's obviously in that a lot, but he doesn't even appear in that until like an hour after the start. So what card would you like to see him on then?
I don't know. I think him in the position of power on Geonosis, where he's sort of looking down on the arena there, sort of saying, Master Windu, you have fought gallantly. So I think I'd go with Attack of the Clones because you don't want him represented in Revenge of the Sith because he didn't last very long.
He didn't, no. It wouldn't make sense, would it?
No.
I was thinking that's the kind of crazy thing they do. They put him on that card and I'd be not so pleased. But then what would you think about having him on a Clone Wars card? That
would be cool. And you could give him his, what do they call it in Battlefront? His exquisite pajamas.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Have him in his pajamas and...
I love that. The scenes of him in his mansion, that lovely green whatever, and what sorcery is this? And the Night Sisters are trying to get him. And that's crazy. Why didn't they just use a bloody poison dart instead of just like, if they could shoot him with a dart? Anyway, that's plot hole discussion.
But yeah, I think Attack of the Clones card, that would look pretty sweet, I think.
It would look sweet, but the more and more I think about Dooku and want him in the vintage collection, I think about the Clone Wars only because there's still so few cards. We've got this new one for Commander Wolf, which is all right, but I just think it'd be really cool if they tacked on Christopher Lee's head to something animatic, like that.
Yeah.
Like they've done with, those two cards you like, the Anakin and the Obi-Wan. Really interesting to see what they do.
There's a lot of scenes from the Clone Wars that Dooku was in, so you could pull from anything and really, put a sense of realism from the Clone Wars and bring it into the toy line. That would look really cool.
And he's a massive part of the Clone Wars. He's in pretty much every episode. Well, you can't say that. He isn't, is he? There's loads of different episodes of political things and stuff going on Coruscant with Padme and loads of areas, but he's a massive chunk of it.
I'm just seeing here Mike saying soft goods on Dooku, yay or nay for TVC. I think if the soft goods were done right, definitely. That's my take.
Well, that's another thing, Mike, that they could update. We were talking about the face they could update. Also, his hands were a bit weird. That one we keep talking about? There's two different heads on it, the same body. His hands are only really in one sort of position, which is that. If they could do it so that one of them would be more like a... Because what the original Dooku from 2005 had that kind of thing going on, which means you could sort of like have a sort of a political suggestive kind of... But they could... Sorry, my point was they could update the robes, the cloak, maybe do something with that skirt thing. So it hangs nice. Change the fabric, basically.
Yeah, that could be easily done.
Great.
So my last one, I'm going to go with Watto.
Oh, wicked!
From Phantom Menace. I don't think we've had a Watto figure since his appearance in Episode 2. I actually picked up that figure like a month or two ago. Where he's got his little hat.
Oh, you want him on Attack of the... Oh
no, I think I'd go with him on the Phantom Menace. I think. I feel like the Phantom Menace cards are sort of few and far between these days. So they did that excellent wave back in 2012 of all Phantom Menace, and that was fantastic. But it really hasn't had a lot of additions since. I think they did Jar Jar, Gungan Warrior.
Yeah,
and there might have been. Yeah, I can't remember. There might have been a couple more, but
they even got Thingy in there as well. That Clone Wars character, what's she called again? Oh man, I can't even. Aura Singh.
Yeah, Quinlan Voss was a bit of a strange one on that card because he was really just a background character, and it was.
I know
it was a little bit strange.
My favorite card, but then again, I like the way they did that. They stayed faithful to whatever they did in the 80s because sometimes cards would be fuzzy or whatever because they tried to legitimize and get who they're talking about, who the figure is. And they did. They got like the extra, whoever it was, it's now become Quinlan Voss. Amazing.
And they knew then too that, you know, Quinlan Voss as a comic character had a really big following. So they knew that it may not appeal to like mainstream sort of Star Wars fans, but you know, the diehards that are reading comics and watching Clone Wars would be like, oh, it's Quinlan Voss. That's really cool. And that was a decent figure too.
They could have put him on a Clone Wars card because by then they had the Clone Wars cards out there. And they could have done the thing of having, like, even on a Phantom Menace, an animated version of him, but that probably wouldn't have worked. So that would have been quite cool if they'd done a Clone Wars card at Quinlan Voss with like a mock-up, you know, looking, you know, realistic, because he is a cool character. The Han Solo Jedi, you know, the unorthodox Jedi.
Yeah.
The one who's just on the cusp of, I don't know, you know, blaster, holding a blaster.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, I remember they called him in one of the comics the Jedi with a gun. Like it was, or
really?
Jedi with a blaster or something like that. Yeah. But yeah, I'd go back to Watto.
I wanted to ask you more about Watto.
Just another out there character that I think would look cool.
I was going to ask you with Watto, what would you? Sorry to cut in. What would you pack in with Watto? Because he's so small.
I don't know. You have to have like a little floaty stand, so like a little clear peg flat stand. Maybe like a pit droid, like a folded down pit droid. Maybe a folded up pit droid. You know, put a new pit droid in there as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I was thinking that. Hey, hit the nose. You could get another.
You can even put his hat on there. You could get a little hat, so you could change it around to Attack of the Clones as well if you wanted to.
Absolutely. There is a couple of pit droids packed in. There's that one up there. You can't see where I'm pointing. Rat's Tyrell.
Yes.
That pit droid's nice. He's articulated because there was a couple of pit droids you could get in 30th anniversary that would like very plain and plastic. Good chance to do another pit droid articulated with all that lovely wash, the weathering, because it was quite a dirty one in his shop, wasn't it? The hit the nose. Brilliant. So I want to read this comment here. So maybe they could do a Clone Wars TVC Villains 3-pack with Dooku, Ventress, and Sergeant Press. Absolutely, yeah. Would be pretty cool. And knowing Hasbro, they would get a single release after that anyway.
Take my money.
Take my money. Were you saying here, collecting Unleashed, were you saying you wanted them in a special action figure set, which would be good because you could have them loose, or do you want them in that 3-pack that they did with Vidane, Brock, and Vizam? Because that was a 3-pack as well, but you got them the opportunity to have 3 figures, but individual cards. Because personally, for a special action figure set, there's Dooku and Ventress. I would want them on a
single cards.
Absolutely. Ventress is definitely on my list. So let us know what you thought. Either or really would work. That's good.
Yeah.
So this one here. So we've got somebody Jack reviews. I've ordered a Mando TVC figure from Forbidden Planet, and it still ain't arrived. Oh no way, man!
They seem to be getting snatched up so quickly. Every time that Mando TVC figure seems to drop onto an Aussie retailer, they are gone. I mean, people are buying multiples, I assume. I don't know, that they could be all ending up on eBay. I don't know. But since I got the one, I pre-ordered mine through Zing, Pop Culture, which is our sort of big retailer for Star Wars toys these days down here in Australia anyway. And yeah, I haven't seen one since.
Wow.
It's been crazy.
I got a heads up from somebody. I did a live stream with Tim from Bosk's Bounty, and a guy messaged me and said, they're on, Kapow Toys. And he said, go. And I did, and I got one because I just wanted it to open. I've already got him. I just need him loose. And I really don't know why, but I want to put him on my barge, him. It's like the idea of him, you know, the way he is in The Mandalorian, he just breezes in and out of places with his gun. I like the idea of him just doing a quick thing for Jabba. And my barge, I have it set up so it's not reflecting Return of the Jedi anyway. It's maybe of that era. And he would have been around, wouldn't he? Surely, doing the rounds.
Yeah, like what's Mandalorian's only 7 years after Jedi. So
it's that long. I thought it was only 3 years.
I don't know. I could be wrong. I thought, I vaguely remember hearing 7, but it could be anywhere. Like they probably don't need to really nail it down to a specific time yet.
Anyway, Jack, no, I'm sorry you've not got it yet, but you know, again, Kapow Toys is one to keep an eye on. That's a retailer here in the UK.
Just keep searching, just keep hunting. You know, don't pay too much. You'll find one.
Yeah, patience isn't it always pays off in the end.
It's not us collectors. It's not a strong suit for us patience.
Yeah.
I know, I'm shocking.
Young Uncle Owen TVC.
Yeah. You can quite easily do a young Uncle Owen and Baru in the vintage collection with the figures that have been out in the past.
Yeah,
Because
I'd like
they're
them.
not bad. They're not bad figures at all. Like I still don't have the young Baru because she's just extortionately priced these days. I don't know why, but
yeah,
might have been short packed at some point. But
I'd like them in the retro collection if they could do it. Maybe because I think that what they call they've done it already. The oh man, what's that company called?
oh yeah,
They do the fake kind of vintage stuff.
yeah. It's I think it's Funko that does it now, but it was someone else.
Oh, it's not. It's not them. It's not.
The reaction figures?
Reaction. No, not them. It's a company. Somebody will hopefully just say in the comments. I just can't put my the fans strike back or something. It's called.
Oh,
That's
right. Okay.
And they make. Oh man, where's Tim for Bosk's Benny when I need him? What are they called, man? Anyway, someone will say. That's just doing my head in. They've got their own line of figures that's just like the retro collection, but they're really dipping their toe in the water and they're pulling up all these characters like Owen and Baru and Rebel Trooper and stuff like that, and they're really.
I remember there's a guy back in like 2010, 11, 12, around that time. This guy, I can't think of his name off the top of my head, but if I remember, I will message you later. But he did a little campaign called Collect All 22. And he basically went back through A New Hope and was not doing the figures, but he was doing the cards for characters that were missed. So he did, Owen, Baru. No, maybe he was getting figures and he was putting current figures on those cards. He did Tarkin, Luke Stormtrooper, Wooer from the Cantina, a few other Cantina aliens. But yeah, he did this cool little website.
By the way, Jesse, it's someone hasn't said yet. He said that. He's right. It's Smith Lord Creations is the name of the company.
Oh, right. Yeah, I've heard the name, yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you. We were just talking.
No, that's okay.
That's the name I couldn't think of. But yeah, the Fan Strike Back is the name as well. It's like got two different names.
Smith Lord?
Yeah. They've done a really good like repro Yak Face, and they did a Han Solo in 80s style. That's Han Solo, nice. Stormtrooper, to be specific, which was really good. Yeah, here we are, Ed 5, yeah, Smith Lord. I've not got anything from them yet, but I've been tempted. I just feel like I want Hasbro to be doing it, by official for some reason. I just feel like, that's like legitimate. That makes sense. It's like nice to know that the original company is doing. I know it's not the original company. The original company's Kenner, but still it's tied to that. It's supposed to be like kind of a bootleg. Hi, Universal Collector. Hello there, Stan Solo. Hi, all. Stan Solo as well. Brilliant. And hi, Biker Scout 74. Sorry, man, I saw you were there as well. Afternoon, indeed. I think you're up in Scotland, so you're on our timeline. What time is it now? 12:48. Anyway, Jesse, should we get back to business, man?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it, indeed. So we've been talking for nearly an hour now, which is pretty cool. It goes fast, doesn't it?
It does.
So we talked about, what we need in the TVC. That's just the last thing we've been talking about. I've also asked Jesse, his top 3 3/4 inch figures ever and what his favorite vintage card backs are ever. And now we're going to move on to 6 inch. So tell me, what is your top 5 6 inch Black Series figures ever, man? As in loose, open, articulated.
Yeah, all right. So Black Series is, I'm pretty passionate about that line. Like, it's really, really good. I think I'm only 1 or 2 figures short of being completely up to date. Maybe 1, I'm not sure. But I've decided to go. One of my favorite ones currently is the new CSI. Have a good one.
Later, man.
The recent Snowspeeder Luke pilot.
Yeah.
As a kid, I grew up with the Power of the Force 2 Snowspeeder Luke, and I really wanted a Luke that you could pop his helmet off, but he was still in his pilot gear. And then they released in the vintage collection the Dagobah Landing, which is one of my favorite vintage collection figures, is that Dagobah Landing Luke. with his gloves off. He's taken off his gloves. That's a great figure, but I just love having a Luke that I can pop his helmet off and, you know, run around and fight with his... And the articulation's really good. I got an extra Bespin Luke Skywalker and an extra one of the Snowspeeder pilots, and I did a head swap. So I've got the orange jumpsuit, but he's got his hair out.
Oh,
and
wow.
That looks really good. That worked perfectly too.
Yeah. That's a really good figure. That I was going to say, I got hold of the 6-inch Snowspeeder recently. I couldn't not get it, you know, before it goes crazy in price. And I also bought the Luke. In fact, it was when I was on eBay and I saw the figure was £20 on eBay, free postage. And I thought that's what got me thinking, right, I've got to get this set. I've got to get this Snowspeeder. If I've got Luke, I know Dak comes with it. Bang, I've got the two together. And it is awesome. Really good.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for my pre-order, so I'm fingers crossed that happens real soon. It was meant to happen at the end of this month, so hopefully it's only within like a week or two away.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really hard picking 5 figures, but the next one I went with was the Mandalorian Heavy Trooper.
Oh, yeah.
That's just a beast of a figure. It just looks so good to see more Mandalorians in different style armor. You know, he's a little bit more rigged up for what he needs it for, carrying that heavy cannon. He's got his beastly jetpack.
Yeah.
This is so cool. I really
one
rate
with that gun that's like Baze Malbus, isn't it? It's like really...
Yeah, big chunky looking.
Yeah. And he's a big guy as well, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he's a solid unit. It was John Favreau in the costume, I think. Either that or he just did the voice.
I don't know. Wow. I heard something, you know, that guy, I've forgotten his name, that got that kind of Hawaiian name, the Wakiti, whatever his name is.
Oh,
he did
Taika.
The voice of Taika, that's it. Taika Waititi, is it?
Waititi, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, he's a Kiwi, New Zealander.
I know he watches this channel. I'm sorry, man. Sorry I got digging. No, but he did the voice of IG-11, apparently. I didn't know that until I watched the Disney Gallery thing, which I've not seen any of them until this week, actually. I've been catching up on them.
Yeah, it was a good series.
Yeah. Cool. So you've had Luke Speeder, that's a good choice, and then that heavy duty dude, which I haven't laid hands on that, but I trust take your word for it. I've seen reviews of it.
Yeah, I recommend him. Next one is Dengar, and it's such a cool looking figure. Like I really just picked over, debated which one to go next, and I went looking for him online again to see what he's going for. He's jumped up in price, so I'm sure he will get a re-release in the archive line. At some point, hopefully.
Cool.
Yeah, he's skyrocketed in price.
Really? Missed a chance to get him then, haven't I?
It was a tough one.
Forbidden Planet, you know, and I could have got him. I got IG-88 and I got Boba Fett, but I wasn't, you know, it's not a big line I follow, but I could have got a Dengar, you know, but I've seen how good he is. I saw Fly Guy's review of him first, you know.
Next one I went with was Hondo Onaka, which is just coming out in Targets in the US now for Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah.
My wife spoilt me on my birthday. It's been last year or the year before. I can't remember. Must be last year. And she got me 2 of the Galaxy's Edge 3-packs. She got them shipped over from the US and cost her an arm and a leg.
One with Rex in it, you know, the DJ.
Yeah.
That looks
Hondo Onaka is a cool figure.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. I want to go to Galaxy's Edge so much to see the ultimate figure, the ultimate one, which is articulated electronically. You know, that animatronic looks amazing, man. Just to see that.
It does. Yeah, I'm meant to be over there right now. I'm meant to be over in the United States.
Oh, sorry. I was just looking at the chat. Really? Oh, man. Gutted. So what are they doing for Celebration now if it's supposed to be on?
2022.
Oh, okay.
2 years.
That's why they've been showing some old footage of George Lucas and stuff, isn't it? On the, I don't usually tune into the Star Wars show. I'll admit I don't really. I subscribe to the channel. I see some stuff, but I did see that with the George Lucas thing.
Yeah. I used to watch their weekly show that they did, but then they sort of changed the format of it a bit this year, and I reached. I watched the 30-minute special they did, the Celebrating Celebration. Africor.
Yeah,
I bless the rains down in Africa.
I love it. I did tell you he was here he's here all night, ladies and gentlemen. I love that. Yeah. Brilliant.
Well, we'll go to my last figure, and that is the Sand Trooper. So all the way back to 2013 Wave 1. I think the Sand Trooper still holds up.
Amazing.
I wish they fixed the backpack on him. The backpack sits a little bit high on the figure, but it's just the way they've had to balance it with... I don't know what they did, but I did customize all of mine and ripped it all out and just glued it to the back of the Stormtrooper because it's sort of meant to sit down further on his back.
Yeah,
but when the figure came out, it was sort of bumping the back of his helmet. But
yeah,
I'm just a little bit anal about stuff like that, so I did fix that myself.
And that's a good figure. That came in like the orange box or the blue box, didn't it? So that's one of the earlier ones.
Yeah, they had one in the orange box, and then that was the orange one, and then they did the...
Oh, with the black pauldron, maybe. I've got the one with the orange one, me.
Yeah, then they did the black pauldron one.
They had a load of figures that landed here in the UK. I'd say this was about December 2018. In the Entertainer, they had that Darth Maul figure, which was rare and expensive, and then the Sand Trooper. And I should have got another one because I would have liked to have had two together. Take the backpack off one of them, because I'm sure in A New Hope, all right, man, launch your weapons. There's one guy who's not got a backpack. Loads of them do. They've got a couple of pauldrons and stuff, but should have got him because it's a great Stormtrooper sculpt, that isn't it? The helmet's brilliant.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. If they continue using that mold for more Sand Troopers going ahead, like that works so well.
I actually think that head is better than the actual Stormtrooper figure that they put out. I don't know if they look different. I don't know if it's just because it's got weathering.
Yeah, so they did really well with the weathering.
Yeah, really good.
But yeah,
in that line, I was going to say that there's a clone trooper in that line which I got a few years ago, and I've packed him away. I don't really like him. He's very plain. You can't take the helmet off or anything. But I think it's probably one of the first figures they ever put out, and they're not that good back then. They've certainly got their act together now. They're amazing, the figures they put out. Just saying, But I don't know if they're going to put him out. I think they're doing that new clone trooper with is it the sergeant or the lieutenant? That's lieutenant, isn't it, with the blue? He's coming back out.
Yeah.
He's on to all that. Cool, man. So is that 5 then? So you got the Dengar, you said Snowspeeder Luke, that heavy-duty gunner, Hondo and Ark, and the Sand Trooper. That's solid, man. Great. Fantastic. So
I'm sure that'll change tomorrow. Like I'll come in and go, oh yeah, I could have picked that one and that one and that one and that one and that one. But
it is a bit like that. I mean, I sat in here and I asked you to answer these questions last night, and I sat and I thought to myself, my God, I've not said what mine are going to be because I was going to chip in with mine. It's more about yourself, Jesse. But I was thinking, I was starting to do a list of stuff, and I was thinking, my God, this is different from what because it just changes, doesn't it? It depends what your mood is like.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. It's a bit like the whole what's your favourite movie one. Like, what's your favourite Star Wars movie? And that changes all the time as well.
You can't say what your favourite album is. You could have a top 20 easy of that, depending on your mood. Yeah, absolutely. So, what's your what do you think we need then in the Black Series 6 inch? What's your top 5 need in the Black Series? There it is.
Top 5 needs. All right, my number 1, my most wanted is Asajj Ventress.
Cool.
Either in her like Clone Wars classic sort of appearance from the early days of the Clone Wars, but I'd also really like the version that she appeared with in the Dark Disciple book with Quinlan Voss. There's some really great artwork from that book, from the Dark Disciple book, and she's grown a little hair out, and she's got like a flick of hair. She's got a yellow lightsaber. It just looks really, really good.
She has that in the Clone Wars, that Master. She sees red, and goes crazy, and she's got like short hair, hasn't she?
Yeah, but Asajj Ventress, either one. Like I wouldn't be fussed either way. Like I'd love to see either one. But
how about this? Would you be interested in having one that was, they did that new Obi-Wan Kenobi figure when the Clone Wars out, the clone outfit with the cape, based on the Genndy Tartakovsky era. Wouldn't it be cool? Do you think of an Asajj Ventress? Based on that, kind of with those white eyes, those evil, loosely eyes, or something like that. Like kind of a mix of animation and real. And then, obviously, it'd be great if they packed in
Anakin.
The saber. She had a green and a blue.
Yeah.
And then the 2 that Dooku gave her, because Dooku says, consider these a gift. So you could have like 4 sabers in there. Wouldn't cost them a lot of money.
Do a 2-pack with Anakin with his shirt off and on their duel.
Absolutely. I
That'd be
love
cool.
that. You know, the animation series was so good. You know,
Yeah, it was.
A bit jittery. The animation's a bit, you know, but they did use a few bits of CGI for the ships and vehicles. You'll notice they're quite three-dimensional or whatever. But I love that scene when he's just like, Yavin 4, the rage, the dark side.
Yeah.
Slippery slope there, man.
Really good stuff. I love going back and watching that every year or two. It's just really cool to go back and watch that again. So yeah, Sarge Ventress. My next one is an episode 9 Poe Dameron. It's time to get a Poe Dameron figure out that's not completely crap. Again, Photo Real Tech will make that right. Basically.
This is where I'm a little bit out on the Black Series. I don't know what they've put out for Poe Dameron in the Black Series already. If it's a pilot or has he got the jacket on? I don't even know.
So they did the pilot version for Force Awakens. In his orange jumpsuit, and you put the helmet on him and it looks all right. Then they did his...
I don't even remember. Do you know what, Jesse? I don't even remember seeing that figure. I've seen him in 3 3/4 inch loads, you know, the 5 BOA, articulated pilots, but and I've seen his helmet, of course, in the Black Series.
Yeah.
But the actual 6-inch figure, I don't actually recall seeing it.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And they also did a version of him from right at the start of the Force Awakens where he's on Jakku. And he...
Did they?
Yeah. He came in a 2-pack with a Stormtrooper. And then they did a Last Jedi version where he's got the black jacket with the Rebel insignia on the shoulder, and it just didn't look good. The figure, like the body itself, looks good, but that figure would definitely work better with like the Photo Real face paint apps.
Yeah. So I'm a bit late on chat here. I'm just going to put up a few things on what we were just talking about.
Yeah.
Early season 3 Ventress outfit was very closely stylized off. Oh yes, stylized off Tartakovsky. That could be 2 birds with 1 stone to do both of those. Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Yeah, so Poe Dameron, right. So you want him what outfit for the if it's Rise of Skywalker, did you say?
Yeah.
You don't want in the Indiana Jones business, do you?
Yeah.
You want that,
it's probably his coolest outfit, I think.
Yeah. It's true. People reference
Usual Mike said potato face Poe. Exactly right.
Wait, which one's that one? Is that the one you were just saying?
All of the above, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah. No, the Indiana Jones outfit was pretty cool. People do say, oh, it's just Indiana Jones, but still, it wasn't. It was still Star Wars, but it had a little bit of a nod. Tip of that. Yeah.
So next one is some more Rebels and Grand Inquisitor.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Grand Inquisitor.
Because, that's a cool-looking character. And,
cool.
They've got the lightsaber already. They've got the sculpt for the lightsaber from the second sister. It's just be cool.
Done realistic. I can't.
Yeah, I'd go realistic. Yeah. I reckon.
So what have they put out already for Rebels? In 6 inches. Oh yeah, they've done them. I've got Sabine. I've actually got Sabine Wren somewhere.
Yeah. So they've got the whole Ghost crew out now. They've done Thrawn and the Imperial Jet Troopers, the Jump Troopers that appeared in an episode with Saw Gerrera. And I guess you could count Death Troopers as well if you hanging out with Thrawn. Tarka you could include. Vader, I suppose you could include, really, if you really wanted to. Really fill out your Rebels shelf. You could put some Stormtroopers in there and really flesh it out a little bit more if you're a keen Rebels fan. But yeah, Grand Inquisitor, that'd be awesome.
Wicked. He's the guy, he's got that kind of pointy head, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's Utapau guy.
Yeah, that's right. It is that species, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
We're being held hostage. Thousands of battle droids at him.
That's the one, yeah.
Even he is a great guy. He'd make a great Revenge of the Sith card, but we're talking about 6 inch now. We're going off topic, but no, it's all relative. Brilliant.
So I need to do Ben Solo from The Rise of Skywalker, but with a removable fabric good boy sweater he wore at Exegol, having a shirtless torso underneath. Could do that.
Yeah, I just thought I'd put that up. Yeah. Shirtless, as in like he looked in. I didn't realize they said that at the end. like
Yeah,
in
his Harry,
Rise of
he's got his
Skywalker.
Harry Eye pants on. Yeah.
You got a towel you can put on, whatever she said. Brilliant. All right, Jesse. So is that how many have you done there? So Dark
That's
Disciple,
3.
Poe Dameron, Grand Inquisitor.
Next one is Quinlan Voss.
Wicked. Yeah.
Quinlan Voss
Awesome.
is probably my close favorite Jedi with Plo Koon. Like Plo Koon's my favorite Jedi, and they've just put Plo Koon out. Yeah, I'd like a Clone Wars style Quinlan Voss. This is just a cool character.
That would go well with your Ventress, though, wouldn't it?
Yeah, well, that's, Dark Disciple, that's my favorite Star Wars book, period. So those two characters together would go hand in hand.
Yeah. Cool, man.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic.
There's a couple of good shots of just thinking about Ventress and her men. There's a shot of, I'm sure there's one of Dooku, and isn't she like got her sabers entwined around Dooku?
Yeah.
I love that image. I think there might even be a bust or something for that figure or something.
It could be, yeah. I do recall that image, and he's looking very regal and noble. And yeah, she's sort of definitely like twisted around him. That looks cool.
Because there's obviously a bit of a relationship she has with these people. Like, you don't know how deep it goes with her and Dooku, but obviously there's a rapport. Well, there's a relationship there, but you don't know how far. But obviously there was a relationship between Voss and Ventress.
Yeah.
It's not canon though, that is it? No, I don't know how that works.
Yeah, that's canon now.
Is it canon now? Wow.
Mm.
Amazing.
Yeah, if you wanna have a good Star Wars book and dig some Clone Wars, and you like Voss and you like Ventress, get on to Dark Disciple.
Dark Disciple, I shall, man.
It's a really good story.
Okay. And what's on the front cover art of that?
I will grab it right now.
Oh, you are. So that's twice now, Jesse, in this chat. I've wanted to go on Google, and you're on it like a car bonnet. Wow, yeah, I've seen that art before. Look at that. Oh, look at Ventress there, man.
Yeah,
that's brilliant. And what year are we talking there? It's got to be before.
This would be 2015.
I mean, sorry, in the timeline, Star Wars timeline. That looks like
it's like it's like
right.
It's like within the end of the Clone Wars, sort of just before the Clone Wars ends, basically. Really,
but she's got longer hair. It looks like maybe that could be before we see Ventress in the Clone Wars. Say after before Attack of the Clones. I'm just saying what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's set sort of towards the end of the Clone Wars, and the basic premise is that the Jedi enlist Quinlan Voss to assassinate. I think it was Dooku. I need to reread it. Yeah, they enlist him to try and make his way into get himself into the graces of Dooku and assassinate him. And it's basically like a commentary on how broken down the Jedi Order was to be able to, try and force one of their own to become an assassin for them to try and end the war. And they know that he's a little bit on edge and willing to bend the rules a little bit, so they try and push him that way.
Amazing.
But, yeah, cool story.
I'll have to read that. I mean, the thing is, I'm terrible for buying Star Wars novels, and I never read them. I just buy them thinking, I want to know more about it. I got the Revan one. I still haven't read it, So lazy. Can I just sit down and instead of flipping around on my phone?
Yeah, I know.
Stuff, man.
Yeah, cool. You scroll through Facebook and it's time to check Instagram again.
I know, and then you go around in circles, don't you? And you go on your phone to do one thing, and then you see all notifications for other stuff. Crazy. Awesome, man. So
my
is
last
that your
one?
List? Oh, you got Wicked.
One more. Last one.
Cool.
So I'm going to go down the same route that Marvel Legends went down recently. And I want a 6-inch George Lucas action figure. Dead serious. Marvel did it with Stan Lee. Why can't we get a George Lucas?
Yeah.
With, flannelette shirt, jeans.
Oh, you want that?
His white Nike sneakers.
Yeah.
A can of Coke and a Hershey bar.
Or coffee latte, depending on if he's in the studio. Or have him in the food mall, the food court with his noodles or whatever.
Yeah.
That was your neck, though, wasn't that in Australia?
Yeah, that was here in Adelaide.
That's amazing, isn't it?
I went and recreated that shot a couple of weeks after that happened. I went and sat
you?
there and ordered myself some Chinese food and sat there and got my wife to take a photo of me sitting in the same seat that he sat in.
That is insane. And what's the story? I didn't look into it. Why was he there? And when was it?
It must have been 2016 or 17. His wife Melody was in town for a big conference or something to do with her company, and he just came along for the ride and staying in the hotel, and he just decided he wanted to go out and get some food and a newspaper, so he went strolling through. So we've got basically in Adelaide CBD we have Rundle Mall, which is basically just like an open mall. And he just went for a walk and decided he'd go and stop somewhere for some lunch, and he got himself a $7 plate of noodles and a can of Diet Coke and a newspaper.
Wow. And somebody,
no one thought any differently. Like, no one thought anything of it. Someone was just game enough to snap a quick photo as they walked past him. And I remember hearing someone was walking through the mall and they thought they saw him, and they thought they just kept walking like, no, that couldn't have been.
Yeah.
There's just no way that was George Lucas, but turns out it was.
That's insane.
Yeah, I know. I live about 35 minutes out of the city, and I was very close to just getting in my car and driving down the hill towards the city and just camping out in front of his hotel. But apparently there were lots of people already doing that, and they had no luck anyway. So
that's amazing.
They would have snuck him out the back door.
Yeah. And they joke about it on, Red Letter Media. They say things like, take your billions of dollars, George, and enjoy your food court noodles or whatever. Just like, he could do anything he wants. He could afford whatever, but he's quite happy just to sit there and chomp on his food court noodles.
He's a humble guy. I think he'd be very humble, yeah.
Yeah. You can sense it, can't you? Like when he comes out at celebration, he puts his hands in the air and he waves, but it's all quite a lot. He doesn't, he's happy. He's even said as long as a room full of people have enjoyed what he's done, then he's set out what he intended to do in the first place.
Yeah. I think it's been 42 years and I still don't think he knows what's hit him. I think he's still trying to work out exactly what happened.
Yeah. Amazing. I love that shot of him. I was going to mention this earlier when I was asking if you had stuff that was new, Jesse. I love that shot of him when he's got this guy in his hands, which I picked this up yesterday, by the way. I got this in the wild as well. I went into a place called Smith's Toys, which I haven't been in a Smith's Toys for years.
Oh, you've had
this is the one that. We'll say again.
You had a figure fall off the wall.
Oh, I know. What in the background?
Yeah, behind.
Well, I heard it. I thought
behind you on your right.
Oh, well, thank you. I thought I just knocked something. Let's try to ignore it and move on. I'll check it out in a minute. But yeah, this is the one I actually wanted anyway. When I was looking at all these ones that were on sale, this is the one that on the online photographs I thought, well, they've nailed the likeness there, surely, because I think some of them look a bit iffy. But this one I thought was just so cute, man. So I could not get him. Don't know if you're a fan of all this child merchandise or not, Jesse. But
I am, but I haven't really dove into it all that much. I got one little baby Yoda who talks. He came with his little little bone broth cup, and he came with a little frog. And you squeeze him, and he coos. He does his little giggle, and it's super cute.
There's the one that's the animatronic one, isn't it? Whatever. I've seen that. Yeah.
It's mine was a little bit of a cheaper version of that, I think.
I'm not even going to put him in my collecting room. He's gonna. I've had him down in my living room, which is where I don't have anything Star Wars. But he's there, and he's just in the corner. He brightens up the room, man. So I'm well happy with that. Stole my hat.
Yeah, I think he's stolen everyone's hearts.
Yeah, it did well. Whoever designed that, I think it's on one of those Disney galleries.
Yeah.
But anyway, sorry, going back to the thing, there's a picture of George Lucas cuddling him, and he's got him in his arms. Oh wow, look at this. A super chat from El Señor Fett. Let's have a look at this. Wow. Hola muchachos, y only one. Estoy siguiendo la stream. Saludo del mando misterioso. Gracias. Muchas gracias, por el super chat. That's amazing. $9.99, fantastic. Un abrazo, amigo. Appreciate that. So what was I going to say? With all that Spanish stuff, I've just confused myself. I was going to say something about. Oh yeah, we're going to talk about the Mandalorian now. So stay tuned if you're just joining us. We're waiting for the the trailer hasn't happened. How long have you got, Jesse? You all right for a bit longer just to talk about that?
Yeah. It's Saturday night. It's fine.
Oh, yeah. Awesome. Yeah.
I did a little bit of a custom cape.
Wicked.
Using an old T-shirt.
That's amazing.
It works all right.
And what do you think about the backpack? Is something that if they just cut on the costs and they just...
Yeah, I'm going to have to go out and spray paint that, I think.
Yeah, put some weathering on it or whatever, yeah.
Yeah, it needs something that looks a little bit... Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't opened it yet. But I've got the 6-inch FET, and I've got the archive line one.
Yeah.
Have they corrected that the pack on him is underdone as well, isn't it? It's not got anything on it.
No, it's got a little bit on it, but his Empire Strikes Back jetpack was a little bit plain and boring anyway. Like, it was kind of just green, and it wasn't until Return of the Jedi where his armor sort of spruced up a little bit and had some touches of red, and his jetpack had the red, yellow, blue flashes on it.
Yeah. Okay. That's cool. That see, this is me again being a little bit out of sync with what's going on in the 6-inch world. But I remember I didn't know fully that they put out the Mando figure. I hadn't realized it was out already. People were getting it and reviewing it, and it's been out for about 2 weeks or something, hasn't it? But
yeah, it sort of started dropping down here in Australia maybe a week ago, maybe a week or two ago. Yeah, I'm not sure. I assume it's been out across the US as well. They've been getting on most of everything else. So,
what everyone's saying about the 3 3/4 inch figure is, and Tim told me this, Boss to Bounty, he said that figure, because I've got the non-Beskar Mando 6-inch, which is great. I'm not quite sure how to get his cape though. I don't like that. I can't get it to sit on him right.
Yeah, I glued mine down just so it sits nice and snug, like it sits sort of around his collar and then sort of drapes over the back. And then I glued his belt on as well, because his belt's got a square in it so you can peg his rifle into as well.
On his back, across his back.
Yeah, so I glued that onto his back in a couple of spots just so that square was always lined up.
Yeah.
And I just glued the cape in a couple of places, and it looks all right the way it sits. But yeah, I wish, particularly with this one, I wish they'd gone soft goods.
But what they were saying was the actual 3 3/4 inch figure is a better figure than the 6-inch, like by a long shot. So I can't comment. I've not opened them yet. That's the problem with, again, like we said before, having a channel. You've got all this stuff or whatever, and it's supposed to be like a normal person just opening it when you get it. You feel like, I'll keep that there. I'll wait for it when I'm ready to do the video or whatever. And I still haven't opened it. I got him a couple of days ago now. I need to get him open. But anyway, I think I'd love a full Beskar though with him. That would be awesome. Good little bit of planning by Lucasfilm there to know that they can have 2 different figures, 2 different outfits.
Yeah.
He looks good.
Yeah, I've been saying for a little while since this Beskar one was revealed, you just know that come season 2, he's going to change his armor in the first episode. And this will be like kind of outdated by then anyways.
Yeah, that's right. Well, yeah, it's funny, isn't
it? But hey, they keep putting the merch out, and if they keep putting these figures out, people will keep buying them because people are going pretty hot for the Mandos.
Well, you're doing well. I see we've got this guy, Bike Scout 74. Beskar Mando hasn't hit the UK retail yet, but still, that'll be one I'd love to get that. Don't want to get it all, bet Jesse. I just want to get a few bits that really kind of hit the mark, and that would be one. Like I wanted.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure. I don't know much about it. I don't think anyone really. Yeah, I don't think anyone really knows a lot about it. But there's a Black Series figure coming out later in the year. It's Mandalorian, but they're calling it Build Up set. So they're not sure. No one's really knows whether it's going to have like switch out armor, removable helmet. Like it might be a little bit of a deluxe version of the Mandalorian. They come with an E-Web cannon. Who knows? Like it's only speculation at the moment, but he might be like the ultimate deluxe version of the Mandalorian going forward for a while.
Yeah, wow.
Who knows?
Yeah.
So that'll be one to keep an eye open for.
Cool. So yeah, have you got any thoughts for the Mando season 2 anyway?
I haven't really thought about it all that much. I kind of just want to go in almost sort of without any preconceived notions. Maybe I'll see the trailer when it drops, absolutely, but I don't know. I want it to go somewhere really interesting, I think. Particularly with like the last 2 episodes opening up the whole Darksaber thing.
Yeah.
It shows it's really got somewhere to go. I'll be very interested to see where it takes it. And if all the rumors of the casting is true, we could be seeing Bo-Katan, Ahsoka, potentially Sabine Wren, maybe Ezra Bridger. It's anyone's guess. It's really anyone's guess at the moment. Just see, apparently there was a leak of the episode titles for season 2. I don't know how legit it is.
Oh, right. Have you got them to hand? You can share them with us.
I'll see if I screenshotted it. I did see it earlier.
Just while you're doing that, I was going to say, when I did have the child in my arms yesterday, I was looking at this thing and I just thought, you know what? I would be quite happy if they just bowed out, just did one series and left that mystery of who he is. But I know there's definitely areas they can explore, and they could wrap it up.
Yeah.
But I want it to be tidy. I don't want it to be like, that doesn't make sense or whatever. But, the way things are flowing with that series now, everything flows so well and it makes sense in the universe.
Yeah.
It's tidy. I just don't want it to get messy.
So apparently these titles were released on April 23rd. So I don't know how deep into production they would have been. So take this with a grain of salt if you're listening. So chapter 1 is The Search. Chapter 2, The Confrontation. Chapter 3, The Bounty. Chapter 4, The Republic. Chapter 5, The Loyalist. Chapter 6, The Sorcerer. Chapter 7, The Return. And Chapter 8, The Empire. But again, take that with a grain of salt, because being April, that's pretty early to have stuff like that leak.
And that was April, was it? It wasn't April Fool's. Was it?
Late.
It was
late April. But yeah, that would have made sense.
When you were reading those titles, and they sounded like they could have been titles for the series 1. Actually, could you read them again, just one more time? Sorry.
Yeah.
One of them.
The Search, The Confrontation, The Bounty, The Republic, The Loyalist.
The Republic was one. I was just going to say there was one on a Republic ship. Is all So I don't know.
Yeah. The Sorcerer, which kind of links to what the Armorer was telling Mando about the Jedi basically being, a group of sorcerers.
Yeah.
The Return and the Empire. So obviously there is an Imperial remnant out there. So, that kind of works too.
They were interesting. The whole thing. I like the fact that it kept going, and I don't know, when they brought back Palpatine in episode 9, I wanted some sort of link with some other stuff. When I heard him laughing on that trailer, I thought it was just going to be not necessarily him back, but I thought maybe, like on that game, I don't have any of these games, but I know that there was a Battlefront 2 or something. I'm sure they had a contingency plan. It was just like a hologram of the Emperor saying what to do.
Yeah.
The event of my death. And it was just him, and they had all these people fighting for power. And
basically.
As opposed to the Nazi Empire, whatever, when Hitler died, they all got crushed and got done away with. Obviously, remnants and people taking it on, and it's interesting, isn't it? And obviously, it still looks in full force at the end of the Mandalorian season 1. With there's a hell of a lot of troopers there.
Yeah,
entourage. Interesting, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, really keen to sort of see where they're going and what the desire for Baby Yoda is. And I've got my own little theory in my head. Don't know if you want me to spill it, but
yeah, go on, man. Definitely.
So basically,
my Salacious Room said there. Sorry, just before you go on there, Jesse.
Yeah.
Is that the Sorcerer? Was that Sorcerer?
Sorcerer, yeah. Could it be Luke? Luke Skywalker's running around doing stuff.
He is there, man, isn't he? Oh. It's an exciting part of the sandpit that they've been playing here, isn't it? Let's be honest.
But my sort of theory is that there are factions of the Empire still, now that episode 9's out, and there was, we know that Palpatine was survived and cloned and somewhat, is that basically that, his closer ups, his higher up sort of crew were out searching for Force sensitives that still lived, to maybe find a suitable host for him to be able to, for Palpatine to be able to have a, suitable host that can handle the amount of Force power that he has. So maybe there's some like midichlorian experimentation with Baby Yoda there, and I don't know. That's kind of it's not much of a it's not much of a thought out theory, but yeah.
Yeah, oh no, I loved it. It's true, isn't it, about the Camino, the logo. I wanted the ocean planet, you know, where Kylo Ren and everyone they were fighting. Going forward to 9 here, I wanted things like that to be Camino. I wanted 9 to wrap up more of what we saw in the whole saga, a little more than it did. But at least there is a link with Camino and cloning here, and I'd like to know more about Snoke as well. I had my own theory about Snoke, which I'm going to do a video about that. I'll talk about that later. But
yeah, I still have my own little Snoke theory, but yeah.
Do you want to leak that now? I don't mind leaking mine. I was going to do a video about mine. I've said it already once. I don't use Reddit much, but I had this. I watched The Rise of Skywalker and I walked away, and I did a bit of reading about who he was in the end, and I learned a lot. And I learned about who Rey's parents were that you don't see in the movie. You don't say that he's a clone. He's got an actual name as well. He's a direct clone of Palpatine that isn't Force sensitive. But anyway, my Snoke thing was the fact that, you know, people have always said, is he Darth Plagueis? And people have even said, is he a clone of Darth Plagueis? But he can't be, because he's not a moon, however you pronounce that species. So
yeah, but canonically, Snoke Plagueis isn't a moon. Like, that's only in... They haven't established that in new canon.
Aha, right, okay.
So they've got a little bit of wriggle room to play with there.
But I'd like it that they would inherit the fact that... Well, Plagueis is kind of canon because he is... he's mentioned in Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
I'd like them to just take on board whoever came up with the fact that he was that species, the Banker clan species. They'd inherit that too and be faithful to that. But I see your point. They don't have to. But here was my idea, that because it's so hard to clone Force sensitives, like with the Starkiller thing, which again, that isn't even canon.
Yeah.
That what they did was they've obviously found a way of doing it. But I like the idea of Snoke being a clone of Plagueis and of himself, Sidious, or something else, because he's got that human organic quality about him. He's messed up, but he's tall like a moon, and he's organic like Sidious. So he's almost like I've made myself and my master. I just thought, wow,
Yeah.
I was my own, got excited about my own idea of it, you know.
That's kind of cool, yeah. Like, and the reason, like, because Snoke was all sort of scarred up from the cloning process, we sort of see why Palpatine's clone is so sort of messed up in the start of Rise of Skywalker. You know, his fingers are, you know, look like they've all been burnt off, and he looks a little bit worse for wear, basically.
When I thought of that theory, though, Jesse, I kind of almost thought, well, I'm glad. I wish they hadn't brought back Palpatine at all. The Snoke was just his own new man, and he was just this messed up, like Frankenstein almost, a genetic mess of all sorts of different things. But it was never seen. Also, I want to ask you a question. When you watched The Rise of Skywalker, when you saw Snoke in the tanks, did you think that they were fresh ones ready to go, or did you think they were old ones?
I still think they're just old, failed copies. Like,
really,
you know, one of them out of the vat just started breathing and working and wriggling around.
Do you know, I feel
so he pulled that one out.
I feel so stupid. When I watched it, I thought, oh, these are new ones that they're making. They've got like a production line of them, and they are new ones that they're growing. But actually, they could be old ones that didn't work. But I didn't see it as that. You know, like when you watch Alien Resurrection, and you go see all those old Ripleys, and you can tell that they are ones that didn't work clearly.
Yeah,
they're all horrific. And also, even with Starkiller, the imagery of him, there's loads of him in loads of tanks. Like you can tell I'm trying to get him right or something, but I just didn't see that with Snoke. It just looked a bit like random, like some are upside down. Why would they keep him if they didn't work?
I'm sort of thinking with the whole Camino link too, with Dr. Pershing from The Mandalorian, and he's got a Camino link. So maybe once the Empire took hold, maybe Palpatine, took control of the whole cloning facilities on Camino. But once the Empire collapsed, the New Republic came in and completely shut everything down. And that's why Palpatine had to sort of resort to getting his minions to put together a makeshift lab on Exegol.
Yeah. Wow.
So maybe either that, or he, took some technology and said, we're going to take this and build our own little.
Yeah. I'm one of these people who like clarity, and I hate it when a film doesn't answer my questions. But I did feel better when I read on the official Star Wars, whatever, the information on Snoke. I thought, well, that's made me feel better. But I'd like it to just be right there, seen somewhere. And if they drop something that clarifies the whole lineage of the whole thing. I'd be like, I'd love to see that in Mando 2. And there's that chance with this Yoda child thing that whatever the cloning story, the history, if it's all shown, that'd be amazing. I hope it's epic. That'd be really good.
Oh, yeah. And just the idea that it's all sort of based around, you can have these sort of bigger plots at the side of the Mandalorian story, like as a, Mando doesn't quite get into it all, but he is sort of bumping into characters and meeting characters that are involved with it, and you sort of see the bigger picture adjacent to what Mando's doing with Baby Yoda and, doing his thing. I think that'd be really cool. But, the whole rumor about Ahsoka being introduced in The Mandalorian and then going off to spin off to her own show with Sabine looking for Ezra.
Wow.
And, then you bring Thrawn into it, and you've got Thrawn, and you just open up a whole,
Yeah, Thrawn's still around, isn't he?
Yeah, and you've got this, all of a sudden, you've just completely opened up this universe again, and you're not interrupting the Skywalker saga. It's its own sort of thing. You're sort of standalone away on the sidelines, and yeah, I think that's really exciting. You don't necessarily have to jump thousands of years into the past or future to start something new and fresh.
Yeah, it's funny when you watch Mando season 1 though, and you forget what you are watching. You're seeing it, and it's like that phrase that they say, you may not have noticed it, but your brain did. But like, I didn't realize they were going for that kind of Western thing with the West meets East with the samurai thing and the cowboy thing. But the way he does breeze into that cantina is like a Western, but you don't see it as a Western because it isn't. It's in space, so it's on that snowy planet. But it is a really subtle, well used, good use of tone or whatever, and it works.
Yeah.
So
I recently went back and rewatched The Man with No Name, Clint Eastwood, and just the opening sequence of him like riding into town. It's just like,
yeah, and even
you can see exactly where they pulled that from that.
It's a bit like, I didn't realize that. I watched the music episode of Disney Gallery.
Yeah.
Thought, oh my God, it is that. It's like, why did I not just, I could have like, if it was badly done, you'd be like sat there going, oh my God, it's just like that. But you don't notice until they kind of like, you sit down and analyze it or whatever. But
yeah,
amazing.
It's funny to sit back and look at like, the Mandalorian and Jedi and, the fact that they have a history of warring against each other. And, at the heart of it, they're very much like, samurai clans, Japanese samurai clans, against each other. You take out the force power. They're all very much, based in religion and, doctrine and their own ways.
But wasn't that the Mandalorian race as opposed to there's like the creed and then there's the race, isn't there? Maybe you could educate me on this. I still haven't quite got to the bottom of what is what there.
I don't think they've really dug into what's the bottom of what there. I think they're still building on that, and I think they're going to, leave that as a history. Like, why can't, you look at the Mandalorian and like, why can't they take their helmets off anymore? But you go back 10, 12 years to where Rebels are, and you've got Mandalorians running around with their helmets off. So there's some untold history in the middle there somewhere.
I always thought my perception of Mandalorians was they came from Mandalore and they were an ancient, race or an army that had that armor, and that's what Boba Fett and Jango chose to wear. Then you watch The Mandalorian and you learn it's a creed. So it's maybe a philosophy from a more ancient tribe before they had like maybe some people on the actual planet Mandalore were the ones who had the war with the Jedi. I still haven't quite worked that out.
Yeah. I don't know that they've worked it out either, personally. I think we've still got a lot of history to look into with the Mandalorians.
Then you've got like Revan, and he adopted that was something to do with the Mandalorian Wars. I think he adopted that mask with the visor, something to do with Mandalorians. Yeah. But he was just on a quest for his turn to the dark side was just a quest for power. He needed to win the war. So he just thought, well, what can we do to do this? I need to do this.
Because he basically said he wasn't going to Revan basically said he wasn't going to remove the mask until the war was over. Or something like that anyway. It's been a long time since I've looked into that story.
That's awesome, isn't it? It's amazing.
Yeah.
So much they can do.
Yeah. It's just cool. Like, I just really like the simplicity of these two, like, warring cultures that, have been like battling each other for generations, and they're still, they've got a relationship together. Like you sort of see by the time the Clone Wars, the Mandalorians have become like a pacifist race.
Yeah, that's right.
And now
Yes.
they're basically scattered and they're living by a creed. And if a creed is now what makes a Mandalorian, if Boba Fett lived by that creed, is he technically a Mandalorian? Because they've been saying for a lot of years that
isn't he? He's the one. Apparently, this is the other thing. And then George Lucas has verified it. He's just someone who isn't even a creed, or even maybe, or is he from the planet, or not even? He just stole the armor. Literally, just wears the armor. That's amazing.
But yeah, there's been a lot of talk for years that Jango and Boba weren't real Mandalorians. Like, yeah, they may not have been born, but if they live by that Mandalorian creed, does that technically make them Mandalorians?
There's always something.
Are they now twisting that sort of canonicity of, Boba Fett can be a Mandalorian again?
It's amazing, isn't it? Because there's always that look, the way he looks at Obi-Wan when he walks in. It's a pleasure to meet a Jedi, and always so that's sarcastic, and even the little boy is just scowling his little face off at him, like almost like they know exactly who he is, and there's a massive rivalry, a hate of Jedi going all the way back to those wars. But then again, I don't know. I need to do my research.
It's interesting. It's a very much a half-painted picture still, I think.
Oh well, season 2, that's all that. If there's content that sort of like feeds the story and the lore, then that'll be awesome. Brilliant. Awesome. Well, we've nearly been talking 2 hours, Jesse. I think I've asked you everything I was going to ask you.
Cool.
Is there anything else we could discuss? If you've got any questions in the chat now, we've still got 40 people watching here. Please do fire it our way. Any questions?
Hit us up some questions. Yeah, I actually did my first live stream about a month ago myself, and I actually really enjoyed it. Had a few people around, and it was good to ask some questions. And I did a bit of a giveaway at the time. It's definitely something I'll look at doing myself.
It's a lot easier
now that I've sort of stopped doing my podcast. I've put that by the wayside. I wanted to focus back onto my YouTube channel again. It's just getting hard to manage. Yeah, it was just getting too hard to manage, social media aspect, let alone the content aspect of both. So I thought I'd pull everything back together again into my YouTube channel and, try and increase the output that I'm doing here on YouTube. Yeah.
I found that I did a few podcasts to the Wretched Hive, and I found that I spend more time doing that. This is just easier live. I didn't think I'd want to do it live like this, but I like the spontaneity of it all, and you get the live chat as well. But I felt because I edited all those podcasts, I did one with Usual Mike. I was going to do one with you, but when I edited it back, I was like putting pictures and blending images to reflect the subject matter we were talking about, and that in itself takes a long time.
It does, yeah.
So let me read this comment. So you hope by the end of Mando season 2 or even season 3. I love this guy. Do we even know we're getting a season 3? Wishful thinking, maybe, or
no? We're getting one.
Have they said that? I think.
Yeah, Favreau's writing it.
Wow, bloody hell.
I think Favreau basically said that he spent the whole lockdown period earlier on in the year writing season 3.
Yeah, he strikes me. He's right on the button. Him.
Oh yeah.
Him and Filoni together. I didn't know much about Favreau, you see, but when I've been watching this gallery thing, you can see in his face, man, in his eyes, he's on it, and he's got a passion, and he understands it. So the only loot we got so far post Return of the Jedi was story on BF2 game, which showed the wise and magnanimous Luke we all know as we all know, as opposed to sequel trilogy. And that game again, the one I was telling you about, Jesse, when they show the Emperor's contingency.
Yeah,
you see Luke in that breezing in and out. He's pretty cool. He looks,
Yeah, that was a really good touch to the story where you actually get to play as Luke. He goes to that planet Pilio, seeking out the Emperor's treasures and stuff like that, and that's where he picks up the compass that you see in The Last Jedi.
Wow.
Yeah, I thought that was really great. I'd love to see more of Luke before he gets sort of stuck into training new Jedi.
Yeah. Do you find it as well, like myself, Jesse, comforting when you watch something like The Mandalorian? You just almost know, you don't see them, and they could bring in Luke, like you said, in series 2, but you just know in the back of your mind that he is out there. He's bouncing around. Him, Leia, Han, they're
Yeah,
all there doing something. It's out of sight,
yeah,
out of mind. Well, it is in mind. It's in the back of your mind. I
yeah.
love
You
that
like
aspect.
to imagine that Luke's, running around doing like real Jedi stuff, like helping civilizations regroup after the collapse of the Empire, and basically doing like good humanitarian missions. I like the idea of Luke using his and training Leia at the same time.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I wonder what year that happened. That flashback was great.
Yeah, yeah. I want some figures of those too.
Oh, fantastic. That's things like that I love. There's a question here for me about it says, only one Kenobi. What's wrong with your Smuggler's Run Falcon? You said it's faulty. Got me intrigued to see what's wrong so I can check mine. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a video about that, but I'm yet to sort of hear back finally about from the company I got them from, Comics and Cocktails. But all it is it's just one day it started firing off. It made this it's permanently on the new legacy font. Not a legacy
I
font, the
saw that in
new
your video.
vintage.
Yeah,
You can turn the other one on and off. This one is
yeah.
constantly on. You can change it to New Hope or sequel trilogy or original trilogy. But just before, it was quite funny. I was sat waiting for my video to drop at 8 o'clock. Then suddenly I heard this. Like, what? So I ran through there and I thought, oh wow, I hope it doesn't do that when I'm asleep. But I thought maybe it did that. Like sometimes the legacy ATAT would make noises after you've finished pressing the buttons. It would just make a random like
sticky buttons and stuff.
But I know exactly what the noise was. It was the gun turret. That's what that does when you move the turret left and right. But it eventually stopped. And then I realized that every time I moved to trigger that noise, it didn't work. So I have no idea what's gone wrong with the circuitry or the buttons.
Yeah, okay.
But because I still had the legacy one side by side, I could test like that one works, this one isn't working. So I knew that there was some kind of fault. And there's no denying that if it was making that noise on its own and then it wasn't anymore, something's got to be wrong with it. So that was the problem in essence. But I've done a little video on that, which I'll put up. But it still looks amazing. But that's the problem with electronics, isn't it, Jesse? When you start messing around with that, a whole new area of things to go wrong with these things.
Yeah, you just kind of got to remember sometimes that they are sort of mass-produced in factories over in China and stuff. And, like every other assembly line, mistakes are going to happen and errors are going to occur. And, unfortunately, someone gets the box and, opens it up and it doesn't work 100% the way it's supposed to. But
yeah, cheers for tuning in, Zanista Studios. Thank you very much. Thanks for also, you've been sending me stuff on Instagram. I love those. Have you heard of these, Jesse? The what are they called now? Flight something. Oh man.
No, I don't think I have.
Flight pose. That's what they're called. I saw a Fly Guy did a review of them. You can basically get like an X-wing or any Star Wars vehicle. They've got like 3 adjustable.
Yes, I do. I remember Sith Lord 229 did a video of them years and years ago.
Yes.
A lot of years ago, because he was trying to set up some of his vehicles, and some of them have like extendable arms. Is that correct?
Yeah, some of them are 6-inch, some are 2-inch.
Yeah.
I'm quite interested in getting a couple, to just because I've been hanging some of my X-Wings on the wall. They look quite good at a 90-degree angle. But in terms of Luke's X-Wing and maybe even Poe Dameron's, I want them in flight, because they look good.
Yeah.
Someone's just asked about your YouTube channel, Jesse. You've got a couple, haven't you? Do you want to just sort of drop a few little social
I've only got the one
links?
now, but it's The Force with Jesse. Just search for that in one word. It was up on the screen before. Oh, because you've got the comment highlighted. Just youtube.com/The Force with Jesse. That's me.
Cool. And you've been doing this a lot longer than me, Jesse. Your videos go right back to
I think 2011. I think I dropped my first video, so nearly 10 years.
That's awesome. Yeah, brilliant. So let's see if there's any more comments before we sort of wrap up now. Yes, I don't know.
I did see a question up before. Biker Scout 74 just said, when is the HasLab project being announced? From memory, Hasbro is going to do a live stream sometime in September, so we'll find about it in September.
Cool.
they
And that's
basically
actually
said that on the last stream that we will get that knowledge in September and exactly what it is. So, and how broke we're all going to be.
that's an appropriate time for me to ask you, Jesse, what you would like to see for the HasLab project. What did you previously think, maybe?
I've always sort of gone towards, I feel like it's going to be like a Death Star play set. But at the same time, I don't know. I feel like they're going to jump on the hype train of the Mandalorian and put out a Razor Crest. There's so many options out there. Like I think of the barge, and I try and think of something similar to the barge, being that it's something that encompasses so many characters and so many figures that have been out in the past. Like Hasbro would want to milk that for everything it's worth, and be able to encompass, like, you know, being able to pull together figures that have been out for 10 years and pull them all together like they did with the barge. And there's nothing that comes to mind aside from like maybe a cantina, Mos Eisley cantina that sort of matches that. But at the same time, like barge being a vehicle, how do you put together a Mos Eisley cantina without it just being like a table decoration? Like it's kind of hard.
I don't want a play set either, Jesse. I want a vehicle, a piece, you know, like the barge. That's why I wanted the Tantive 4 to be made, and that's why I was a little bit gutted when I saw the Tantive playset. It looks great, and I will get it, but I thought, oh, there's my thing out the window. Then they're not going to be doing a Tantive 4 ship. I just thought if they did something about the size of the barge, maybe just a little bit bigger cockpit, the rear with the ejector pods, and then in the middle just have a nice solid corridor.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll be very interested to see what it is, though. It's no point in speculating because I'm probably going to be wrong. But
yeah, well, we've got this thing of it. Well, we don't know yet, do we? We'll have to wait and see. As you say, no point speculating. We don't know. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I look forward to that.
Yeah,
awesome.
I just saw another comment from Ed5. Do you make weekly content? Sometimes. Sometimes, like usually it's mostly been like action figure reviews, but I'm looking at doing a little bit more with my channel going forward. Mainly sort of action figure reviews as I get them. I try and get them as soon as I possibly can and get those reviews up, but I also want to get into sort of doing some book reviews because I do read a lot of books. Just brief discussion videos and all that sort of thing, and hopefully get onto some more live streams myself on my end of the channel. That would be a lot of fun going forward.
Cool. And we got this from usual Mike. This is the gentleman with the rumor of the Dagobah.
Oh, the Dagobah, yes.
The Dagobah playset, which would be interesting, Mike.
Again, I think executed that could be really, really cool. But my thought on that is that the maximum amount of figures you put in it is 4. Like you've got Luke, you've got Yoda, Ghost, Obi-Wan, and maybe Darth Vader if they have like a Tree of Evil sort of cave thing, and maybe a bunch of snakes. But
they might put out a line of moss and trees you can collect for it, Jesse, and swamp water. You not thought about that, man?
It'll be like a chia pet, but
yeah, that dolphin thing.
Yeah, that's another one.
Why did they change that? You're lucky you don't taste very good, and then he says you're lucky to get out of there.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're going on a different route with that.
So the fact that it would, you buy the 4 figures and you whack them in the playset and it's kind of done. Like I kind of feel like Hasbro would want to optimize playability for the next year or two, like they've done with the barge, and they've sort of sprinkled out a figure here, a figure there. Buy this, stick it in the barge. Buy this, stick it in the barge. And
yeah,
I feel like they just want to expand on that a little bit more. That'd be the only thing. Otherwise, I'd probably be all in for a Dagobah playset.
Well, this gentleman here, seems to think, Mike, you're always right. Well, we'll find it. We'll find out. We're going to find out in the goodness of the West. It's coming up, though, isn't it? September. And I haven't decided what I'm going to do yet. Blue Harvest Vintage Toys. If I'm going to do it with, at least I could try it again and get sound sorted for that one, maybe. Don't forget I'm new to game, Mark. Give us time to get acquainted with technology. We'll see. Anyway, it's been awesome, Jesse, having you on. And just to reiterate something I said at the very beginning. Oh, yeah, Rogue One, man. Yo.
Rogue One.
You've been watching since the start, man. Awesome. That's all right. Well, it's good to see you, man. That's awesome. Welcome.
I just saw that Ed 5 has recently moved to Port Augusta, which is in my state. He's probably, what's that, 4 hours north of Adelaide, where I am.
Oh, right, sound man.
Greetings to a fellow South Aussie.
Awesome. It's somewhere I've never been, Australia. I've been to America a few times, lots of times, but I'd love to go to Australia, man. I can get that flight.
Close to Red Leader 1, who's a fellow South Aussie. He's a little bit further south of Port Augusta in a town called Port
Primal Waters.
Primal Waters. Yeah,
that's it, man. He's
also known as Red Leader 1.
Yeah, but it makes me laugh. He must still have his old archive as Primal Waters, so people must still sub to Primal Waters thinking he's a Star Wars channel. But he started a new channel as Red Leader 1, and he's hardly got any subs on that, which is a shame because obviously.
Yeah, he should have transferred it. Go back and try and transfer everything over, and
maybe.
Yeah, he's been around for a long time, and I did a podcast with him, Malcolm Jones. Yeah. Jonesy. I did a podcast with him a few months back now, probably 3 months ago. Hopefully I can try and find the clip. I'll put it back up on my YouTube channel as a bit of an extra clip. And he said he still gets videos and comments and stuff on his old Star Wars videos, even though they're like deeply buried in his channel of sharks.
I think a year ago I was waiting for my AT-AT, my AT-AT, my legacy AT-AT, AT-AT, whatever you want to call it. And I when you're waiting for something, you want to dig out a video and watch it and anticipate. But I looked at his video. He had one of the most highly viewed ones on YouTube. It's just like a classic, and it's like Primal Waters, but it's just he's still there, buried in the archives of YouTube.
He should whack them all in a playlist, and then have the playlist on his new channel, so they're easy to find and stuff.
That's it.
They're difficult to find anyway.
Am I right on this? Did you watch Rogue One with him? I think you might have.
No, I didn't.
I thought you went.
Yes, I did. Sorry, I did. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He did. He drove down to Adelaide, and we did watch Rogue One together. And because I saw it the night before at midnight, and then I met up with him in the morning to watch a screening. So it was good to catch up with him. And then we both walked out of the cinema, and he went straight to the ticket counter to get another one. He went straight back and watched it again.
Wow, that's so funny, that, isn't it? That's like what Ron Howard did that for the original Star Wars in 1977. They just got back in line and watched it again. But no, I was going to say about Malcolm I remember seeing that fact that you saw it with him, or he said it on his channel. I was watching with the Force with Jesse. Yeah. That's before I was a YouTuber. I was like on YouTube searching for people I know like yourself and him just to find out what their reaction was. I wasn't even on YouTube then. But I just remember that because I thought, well, it makes sense. You're both in Australia.
Yeah. Well, we've got it's nice to find someone else that's from my home state, Ed 5. That's freaking awesome. Like, we've got quite a good bunch of Star Wars fans down here in Australia, and there is a bunch of YouTubers here as well in Australia too that we all sort of do the same thing.
Here we go.
How many times did you watch each of the sequels? Episode 7 I saw 8 times. Episode 8 I saw 8 times. Episode 9 I think I got to 7. And then I just went back to work after Christmas holidays, and just sort of time just slipped away. I would have gone to see it more. I was hoping to get 10, but it just didn't happen.
Now, you mentioned Corey Van Dyke earlier. I remember seeing him on the Wolfpack podcast or whatever, the first transmission thing. He saw episode 7 9 times or something like that. But I felt with that one, I could have easily gone back to watch it more, but I stopped. I saw it normal, then I saw it in IMAX 3D, 3D, and then that was it. But the other two, I only wanted to see Rise of Skywalker again, just to kind of make sense of it and just to digest it. And it was better second time because there was more people in laughing. I think we talked about the lightsaber toss before. That was just deadly silence, a bit awkward. But some people kind of laughed at it. It made it a bit more funny to, tongue in cheek, whatever, pinch of salt, whatever. But anyway. I haven't seen them that many times though. That's amazing. Was that 8 times each? That's crazy.
It sent me broke.
Wow,
including buying popcorn tins. Just seeing the reply there from C Moles. I recall seeing a lot of photos. Yeah, I basically posted a picture of my ticket stub on Instagram every time I went in. It was sometimes it was 3 times a day.
That's awesome, man.
it was ridiculous. But I'm all about soaking in that vibe, and I look at it fondly years later. Like just look back on those times, seeing Force Awakens. Going with my wife, going with friends, going with my mum. I just look at that really fond memories, and that's probably more so what it's like, more so for what it is, like, making memories as opposed to, bragging rights for seeing how many times I can go see a movie and how broke I can get in the process buying popcorn.
Yeah. You see, the thing is, Jesse, that I've got really fond memories. The golden era for me was just the lead up to Force Awakens, and even a long period after. And even when Rogue One hit, I was just blown away again. But the lead up to Force Awakens, I love that. To go back to that time would be awesome. Such anticipation for 7.
It was a thrill, wasn't it? It was really a thrill.
We'll never get that again, really. But we won't.
No, not on that scale, I don't think.
What was it, 33 years or whatever, or 32 years after Return of the Jedi?
Yeah.
I've just got to say very quickly, another super chat from El Senor Fett here. If it's a Dagobah playset, some
disintegrations?
Some disintegrations will be in order.
No disintegrations.
No, as you wish. Most of us bought Red 5. Yeah, X-Wing back end of last year. That's so true. And I want, right, when they brought out Luke, as much as I love Luke, I wanted a blue leader X-Wing. So here's my theory. If it is an X-Wing playset, I want it to be a Yavin playset with a blue leader X-Wing in there. Like Rogue One.
Get around that. I never got that Red 5 X-Wing. I'm kicking myself now because I basically had to make the decision whether to get Poe's or get Luke's, because they're $200 down here each. And I'm like, I can afford one. And I decided to go with Poe's because it looks different. It's orange. It looks great. And I love that ship. I really do. I've got it hanging on my ceiling chasing down a TIE fighter. And I've got the Red 3 Big Starklighter X-Wing from the vintage collection from a few years back.
Nowhere near as good as Luke's, that one.
No, now I'm kicking myself that I really wish I got Luke's as well.
I wish they'd done the mechanism on Luke's, because Poe's is amazing. Those wings, they open and then they shut.
Yeah.
And tight, they're really good. But Luke's isn't, but it looks good. Really good. And I did so well. I don't play a game really on YouTube of trying to get, well, we all try and get videos out before everyone else. But with that one, I bought the Luke X-Wing the day after the Force Friday, I guess. And I happened to be, I don't know how that happened, but I was one of the first on YouTube with that video. And I think that's my highest viewed video on YouTube, which is such a shame because production-wise, it wasn't my greatest endeavor. But I got a ton of subscribers via that video. It's crazy.
Yeah, I had the same with I got the First Order Stormtrooper. I remember I got that from shipped from Taiwan or something. And this was months before it came out for the first Force Friday in 2015. And that thing just went ballistic. It was one of the first ones on YouTube to review that First Order Stormtrooper, and it just went crazy.
Yeah. You really see it as well. You see, like, you check your phone and you're like, come on.
What?
Like, you see this massive jump in subs overnight. What?
Yeah.
Weird. It's funny. It's like you kind of ride a wave for a period. Like, when's it going to start? And then it calms down again. It's interesting. Anyway, Jesse, thanks so much, man, for being on. Thank you very much.
No, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. We'll do it again sometime for sure.
Thank you to El Senor Fett for the super chats, and to everybody who has watched from the beginning. In some cases, they just piped up like this young man here, Rogue One. Some people have been there for the whole time and jumped in and left comments. Thank you very much. And yeah, Jesse, speak to you again soon, man, I hope.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Thanks for having me. See you, everyone. Thanks for watching.
So, don't forget to subscribe to Jesse. I'll leave a link in the description when this video is finished.
Do it because I have a Chewbacca tattoo.
Oh. Nice. Yeah, can we have a close look at that, Jesse, just before we go?
Ooh.
Let's have a look at that.
Oh, wrong way.
There it is. Oh, wow, man. Look at that. And look at the articulation on the legs, man. That's 5 POA. That's vintage. That's vintage goodness. That's a hardcore fan. That is a hardcore fan. He buys the tins of the popcorn in the cinema and he has bloody tattoos on his arm. Real man. Awesome. Thanks a lot, man.
No worries. Take it easy.
See you soon. Bye-bye.